Well, good evening, everybody. It is Friday, September the 12th, and it is 7:47 here on the west coast of the United States of America. I hope that you've had a good day, or you are having a good day. I don't know what time it is where you are, or when you might be watching this. If you're one of those people who watches the replays, we always appreciate you that you put in the effort. Because some of these can take, a while in regards to conversation. Just ask you guys to hit the like button, drop a comment, share the stream out. I think we're going to have a inquisitive discussion with my friend and my co-host, Tom, who's going to come on. And we just want to greet you guys, say what's going on before we actually jump into our topic. So drop a comment, say hello. I know it's kind of unusual because we usually do not do Friday night streams. I do Friday streams, and for sure, most of the time Tom is with me on Monday, and there's not a replacement for this upcoming Monday. We're still going to do that, but we thought it would be good for us to go on together. There you are, Tom.
What's up, guys? Good evening, everyone. This is good. I like this because it's not hot either.
It's not hot in the studio.
Yeah, it's
we don't
pretty
need,
nice.
We don't need the
at least not now.
AC like
Depends
cranked.
how this conversation goes.
That's true. The thing is, Tom, that winter is coming, and it gets really cold in here in the winter. So you're gonna you haven't experienced the winter here.
Oh, I'm okay, brother. I don't get cold.
No, I got a heater right there.
Yeah, but I won't need a heater ever.
Yeah, I will.
Then we can put it next to you.
I get cold.
What's up, guys? What's up, Saad? What's up,
Nick
Gev or Dalkian?
Nick Quint's in the house. The Lord
Nick?
is good all the time. Amen to that.
Amen.
Saad says audio. Hello, gents. Again, I hope that you guys are doing well. Tom, I don't know about you, but here's the thing about personalities. You and I have very different personalities.
Yeah.
You're sort of how old are you? 33.
33. Wow, yeah. I'm 33.
You're 33.
Jeez.
I'm turning 40 this month.
That's old, man.
I'm turning 40 this month.
What's up, Jesse?
And you and I have very different personalities. And sometimes I look at you, and again, I'm just 7 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I look at you and the way you react to situations. And I remember the way I used to react to situations.
Mm.
And I think to myself, sometimes I think to myself, man, I wish I still reacted to situations like that. The fieriness, the instant kind of momentary reaction sort of stuff. Because I think probably over the last 10 years, I've trained myself to not be reactionary. Okay. And sometimes that's a great thing. And other times it could be a hindrance, in my opinion. But overall, it's a great thing in my mind.
So I'm on the right track.
Well, hopefully over the next 10 years, you'll calm down a little bit. Right. But I've watched a lot of content over the last couple of days. More than the usual. Very broad. Like I sat through however many minutes of Bernie Sanders talking yesterday. I've watched a lot of Christian creators, and I always check my heart. Because being on the internet, specifically being on YouTube, and trying to grow a following and all that stuff as well, one's motivations could be called into question. And I never want to do things where I'm not very sure of my motivation for doing so.
That's right.
So the reason why I say that is because I didn't immediately want to respond to the Charlie Kirk assassination. I think it's fair to say that. Because I hadn't reasoned through it. I hadn't thought through it. I hadn't processed it And I didn't want to do it for the purposes of, oh, I'm going to be the first person on the internet, or like, it's, you know, it's obviously it's going to be trending.
Yeah.
And getting to it, and now your motivations are wrong before God. So again, my general heart and response is to Jesus. I like processing things alone silently with me and Jesus. One of the things I've realized actually is the amount of people that have put content out there are using the chamber, not necessarily an echo chamber, but the chamber of the internet as like a counselor.
Yeah.
They're processing it with everyone.
For sure.
And that's fine. Some people, I don't necessarily have issues with that. But I generally in these situations need to take a step back and process and think, because there's so many things going through my mind. I would probably say yesterday, and I haven't said this to anyone. Yesterday I was sitting, I wasn't just sitting all day, but almost all day I was thinking, dude, I should hit college campuses. So the thing is that I used to do that kind of stuff. I used to go on college campuses and interact and debate with students. The thing was, we used to record ourselves with camcorders because campus police usually would lie to us and try to get us off campus and stuff like that. You didn't have live streaming you didn't have live streaming. You didn't have kind of this whole internet phenomenon of chopping stuff up and putting it out there and stuff. To a certain extent, I wish you did. I mean, if you Cliff Connectly, like a lot of the videos that are on the internet is because they would do the camcorder recordings and then chop them up and re-release them, right? Now, I don't have the recordings of when we used to do campus ministries like that. I'm not very sure whether I would agree with myself either if we were to have them, but it's important for us to process this, guys, in whatever method you want to process this. This is equivalent. The death of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk is equivalent to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. It is equivalent to the assassination of Malcolm X. It is, to a certain degree, equivalent to the assassination of Robert Kennedy. And maybe to a lesser degree, you can say, to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And the only difference there, I would say, is because John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy were actual politicians. That's why I said the other guys first, because they were activists. They were individuals that were drawing and growing a following in regards to the psyche of the United States of America. And so I know you've posted things. You've posted things on Instagram and Facebook that I've seen. Do you want to kind of rehash some of those comments before we kind of... We're going to openly kind of go through this, guys. So if you guys have comments and questions, drop them in here. Ask questions, and we'll just interact with you guys. But as... Tom and I haven't really spent time talking about this.
No, not at all.
Let me tell you this before you go into your answer. I was in a meeting. I was in a regional kind of meeting for my Young Life job. And you sent me the text. You were like, man, Charlie Kirk's been shot. And then I looked at it and I'm like, we're in a meeting discussing all sorts of stuff. And I was like, oh man. Like, and then almost instantaneously, I would say maybe 2 minutes later, somebody walked into the room and said, hey guys, would you please pray because there's an active shooter situation happening in Colorado. So in a matter of 5 minutes, I got your text and I got this. And then I said, hey guys, if you don't know, Charlie Kirk's been shot. I just got news of it.
And did they know?
And nobody knew.
Oh man.
Nobody in the room knew. And so we prayed, we stopped and prayed for both situations. And then kind of went on with our day. But Tom and I haven't really discussed, we haven't had time to sit down and actually discuss some of these things, like just a bit of text back and forth. That's fair to say, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you've posted things online. Kind of what's been your thinking?
I mean, this is God. Like, this might sound crazy, but this felt like the Kobe situation for me times a million. Like the pain because I was telling my wife yesterday, we were talking to each other, and it's so funny. My wife knows how emotional I get during these situations, so she becomes overly cautious and overly caring and loving. And all jokes aside, like as men, sometimes we need that, because it's like your testosterone, your blood, everything within you just wants to explode. Like your initial response, you just want to take over just something. You just want to go take over something, and so you need that calm energy to come. But I was telling her, I said Kobe was sort of a mythical figure where I felt like he wasn't even real. Yeah. You know, where Charlie Kirk he's like 2 years younger than me. He has kids that would be exactly the same age as my kids today in 2 years. His are 1 and 3, mine are 3 and 5. And so, of course, Charlie's an important figure in American politics in the world, and I'm a nobody. But as far as in our view of or where we are in life, in our personal life, it was very similar. So it really hit me. It really hit me. I was so angry, and I just sent you a picture if you want to pull it up. The last couple of days, like I'm not sending this as a joke, but that's how I've been waking up. Like seriously.
You want me to post this?
Yeah, and I want you to post that up. Like, like I'm telling you, this is how I'm waking up every morning. Like honestly, the second I get up around 4:35, I just get up like this. And I'm telling you this for a reason, not to sound cool or but it takes prayer, reading, really prayer, like really, for me to be like, okay, that's not what Jesus wants me to be. It looks really cool, but that's not what Jesus wants me to be. And then I think about what Jesus wants me to be. And but that's been a big challenge for me. I would say that's been a bigger challenge than any situation for me ever has been. Where at one moment I want to rage. Like Arthur, I haven't I mean, I don't want to lie. I've probably thought cuss words or maybe even said them out loud here and there. But it's been a very long time, probably since I was like 7th, 8th grade, where I've just wanted to like cuss out a part of the population genuinely, with the kind of anger that's within my heart. And I was listening to a Catholic guy actually on Megyn Kelly speaking today. He was a Catholic priest, and he said something that really touched me. He said, being angry is the correct first response. Yeah. It's the correct response. Where a lot of us have been trained in the Christian world, maybe not you, but I have been, to not immediately go towards anger when these things happen, to immediately calm down. And I think that's the wrong approach. I think anger is the right response. You first become angry. You become furious. Like I didn't know what to do. A couple of people messaged me, Arthur, and I can't believe it. I won't name them, obviously. It was in confidence. But they're like, dude, I cried. Yeah. And I promise you, if I could say like 2 people that I never think would cry, would be these 2 people.
I think I know one of them.
Yeah, and it was shocking to me. And it was cool in a way, because you know that a person has made a certain kind of impact when there are just people from all walks of life that are affected so deeply. So I've been very affected. I'm telling you, if I came on here with you the first day this happened, you probably wouldn't have had me on again, because I would have I was in a rage mode. Yeah. And it was in a rage mode, not because Charlie Kirk is my friend or Charlie Kirk knows me from whatever, the grass on his lawn, but it's because the hatred and the vitriol and the nastiness I saw from the left were just making me so angry. Like, how could you see how could you be a human being and see someone get shot in the neck, blood gushing out? Early reports were saying his children and wife were there, which were confirmed, by the way, and then laugh at that. So to me, it's been a demonic response.
Yeah, it's. I know it's easy to say this is a demonic response. I'm going to say a couple of things during this entire process that I've planned on saying that might shock a bunch of people. Whether I'm right or wrong, you'll be the judge of that. I don't think it's demonic. I think it's easy to say that because we don't have any other way of explaining it. Because it's like, dude, like, how can you be a dirtbag like that? But it's a seared conscience. I was yesterday. We spent some time in the beginning of our Bible study talking about this, and I just wanted some of the guys. We had about 30 guys there, and I just opened it up and said, guys, anybody want to share stuff? And folks were like, hey, he impacted me and X, Y, and Z, and people shared, and we ended up praying for his family and close friends and all that. We prayed for our nation. Prayed for the school shooting that happened in the same day, almost exactly at the same time in Colorado. And just prayed for our nation, man, because we're going through the book of Judges. And the book of Judges deals with the people of God stepping away from God, and then there being hard times, and then God sending judges to rescue the people of God. So that is fitting for us to pray for our nation, and we did. But one of the things that ends up happening is that we get a seared conscience. I hope people understand what a seared conscience is. You no longer can feel. We become so desensitized. And that's one of the things I've been noticing is generally it's a younger crowd, because I've listened to older liberal people. Like today I was listening to this guy was a divorce attorney. He's like, look, I'm progressive. But he's a dude, he was probably in his like 50s, 60s. And he's like, I disagree with everything Charlie Kirk stood for. But he's like, the people on my side, you guys are being very difficult to love. You're just being absolute trash. And the individuals I'm noticing reacting like this, I feel like their conscience has been seared so much, and they live so much on the internet, they're disconnected with actual life. They think it's a game. To like anything that happens, you turn on a camera and you like act a fool, right? Like for me, the first thing I thought about was his wife and kids. And similar situations like this have happened where my initial reaction's been his wife and kids. I can't say Charlie Kirk had much of an impact on me in regards to influence. But what I appreciated about the guy is that he never let go of a good opportunity to evangelize. And in that way, I feel very connected with him, because like you know me, like we can go out tonight, and if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to share the gospel with someone. I'm going to bring up Jesus somehow. Like it just naturally happens with me. And that's the thing, is that he would sit there and talk about politics. And then somehow it would end up being a conversation about Jesus, being a conversation about salvation and loving Jesus and following Jesus and all that. And so the other part that I think I'm angry at is seeing conservative people acting in ways that in no way honor Jesus. Vengeance, revenge. And again, I get that's a natural reaction. Like you were saying, this is why we need to filter stuff out. Stop putting stuff on the internet. There's absolutely no reason why everything you think should be written and put on X. Everything you think should be recorded and put on Instagram, X, Y, and Z. Like process it. Ask some friends or your spouse, like, hey, do you think this is a good idea for me to say this? People just, and again, I mean people on the left just making stupid statements. I think, what's her name, man? What's the Somali congresswoman? Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, that dirtbag.
Like, she's on this thing with this British dude.
Yeah, Mehdi Hassan, who's also a dirtbag. Two dirtbags on a show together.
And she doesn't understand what she's saying. Like, I can't say, hey, you're just a stupid person, that you don't understand what you're saying. Like, oh, this is a man who said the following things. Let's just say you're right. Let's say he was an absolute dirt of a person. Say he was a racist. Let's say he was the head of the KKK. You think he should be publicly assassinated? But she doesn't realize she's saying that because she's justifying something, right? She's saying, oh, but he said this and he said that and he was racist. He said this about George Floyd and he said this about black people and he said that. Like, for me, generally, whenever people have said that, I've tried to research the context of those things. The ones I've looked up, they're all out of context. It's not what he's saying. They're misquoting him and X, Y, and Z. But even if he did say that, even if he did say that, do you think it is correct, especially as a politician, that a citizen in the country picks up a gun and says, I'm going to assassinate this person because they're racist? The political answer to that from her would be something like, no, of course not. It's not a good thing. So why are you saying the stupid stuff you're saying on national
I don't know.
television?
I don't know if that would be her answer, honestly.
Well, yeah,
I mean, she's a scumbag, so I don't know if that would be her answer. But one of the things was
AOC's answer was that.
Well, yeah, because AOC has bigger ambitions.
Yeah.
This person is just evil, purely evil. But she was saying something like, Charlie Kirk said Islam is incompatible with Western democracy.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's news, guys. Literally the religion that would like be commanded to take over every aspect of Western democracy. Charlie Kirk said, yeah, Islam is not compatible. Yeah, you know what's funny? And I agree with everything.
You mean Charlie Kirk agreed with Muhammad?
Yeah, seriously. And I agree with everything you said, by the way. I thought that was very well said. I'm way more radical than Charlie Kirk is.
Yeah, people call him a moderate. I didn't know that.
So when I would so the reason Charlie Kirk didn't have he had a great impact on me in certain ways, but the reason he didn't have impact that certain others do is because I thought he was too moderate. Seriously, like some of his positions, I was like, yeah, too moderate. And this is the guy that they're like imagine what they would think of us. This is the point I was trying to get to my friends. Imagine what they think about us. Like, I don't think there's any excuse for abortion. Zero. I don't know what his position was, but I'm sure it was something lighter than that. I think the LGBTQ movement, trans, I think that's a cult. I think that's the worst thing to happen to humanity, at least in the last 30 years. Like, he was the moderate. This was being said a lot. I didn't come up with this, but he was the moderate. You killed the moderate. So now you have, what happens when you kill a moderate? I know your response is the right response is, to think of this Christ-like, but that's not what the majority of people are going to think. The majority of people are going to think you killed our most decent guy. Well, you're about to face hundreds or potentially thousands of less decent people. Yeah, that's the debate you're going to get.
So my general look, martyrdom has been a part of Christian history. We speak about it, and then when it happens, we're shocked. For good reason, we're shocked. But I know there's debate whether we can call this a martyrdom and stuff like that. In my opinion, you can. But the thing that is interesting to me is I think we're going to see hundreds of Charlie Kirks on college campuses after this. It's going to become a fad in the American university. I'm telling you, I've shifted and done ministry various ways. Like, I used to do it on college campuses and on the streets. I do it on the internet now because, again, it's the same thing for me. People are passing by and they jump into a stream and I get to have conversations with them. That's why I feel very close to someone like Charlie Kirk, because I just want to have conversations with people. If you're an atheist, tell me why you're an atheist. We'll learn, we'll talk, we'll get to know each other. We'll try to see eye to eye on some issues with respect and love and stuff like that. I haven't been on a college campus doing ministry of that sort where I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I should get on a college campus and do come talk to me, prove me wrong. And I think there's a lot of people thinking like that.
Oh, yeah.
And if that does happen, again, which generally with martyrdoms, it backfires. Because if no one was paying attention to this individual, now everyone is paying attention to him.
Oh, for sure.
I won't give you context on some of this stuff because they probably would be uncomfortable with me sharing this. I went somewhere today and I had people that I didn't think, and I'm pretty sure, actually one of them doesn't go to church, doesn't really care about God very much and stuff like that. Were telling me, what have we come down to that we can't tell someone you're wrong? Like, These people would be like left-leaning, where they're absolutely angry at the situation that why can't we just tell people they're wrong and we're right and have a discussion? I talked to my 11-year-old today because I was listening. He said, Dad, why was Charlie Kirk so influential or popular? No, he said, why was he so popular? And I said, well, he was an activist and, he had a lot of influence over a lot of people's lives. He went on college campuses and debated people and this and that. He said, why did this guy kill him? And I said, well, because he disagreed with him. Mm. And then my son went, no joke, started laughing and said, he couldn't go and just tell him he disagrees with him? Like, you're wrong, I just disagree with you? And I was like, you're right, he could have. But he didn't. And trying to explain that whole situation to the 11-year-old and all that, right? Where the common sense, where people, you get a 22-year-old, and we'll talk about this a little bit. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to go to comments, come back, but because I don't want to forget it. Okay. I think what we're going to see in the news about this 22-year-old is that he's radicalized, is this, and we're going to hear that stuff from the left and the right. I have a completely different take on it. Remind me as we jump into some of these comments. Is it beneficial? What does the word says? Was talking to my wife. Generally speaking, do you think every prove me wrong is beneficial just because we're Christians?
So prove me wrong. That's Charlie Kirk's segment he would do on college campuses.
Yeah.
So I think what he's trying to ask is it good to go out throw a debate out there every time? I mean, no, but the topics that he was debating on were very important to us. So he was mainly, I mean, he wasn't going out there and really talking about like, I don't know, like. It wasn't random stuff. That's my point. It was about abortion. It was about illegal immigration. It was about Christianity. I mean, even where he was a couple days ago where he got shot, that was in Utah.
Yeah.
And he was not a Mormon. And so the Mormons were kind of like trying to throw some friendly jabs and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're right. Every topic, like I'm not going to go debate like Apple versus Samsung or whatever, and like risk my life on a college campus. But he was talking about very important issues. So, yeah, I do think what he was doing was very important. Now, in hindsight, do I think he was maybe at the level of fame and notoriety where he shouldn't have? I mean, that's easy to say in hindsight, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, so I guess he's saying not necessarily Charlie and his series, but Christians all over are doing this whole prove me wrong. Like Islam is false, prove me wrong. Yeah, look, that's a way to attract people to whether come on a stream or if... So we did something. I just remembered something we did on a college campus. We made a big sign that said "Hell no." That's it.
Good. That's pretty good.
That's it. That's all it said. And we just stood at a table, and people would come up and be like, "What the heck is this?" And then we set up the table next to the Wiccan group. We became good friends with them. And then eventually we heard some of them became Christians, which is great. But this was on a college campus. I was going to this community college. And we put big, giant, we wrote hell, and then we wrote no. And people would come and say, what is this? We would say, well, we're saying no to hell. And we'd share the gospel with people, right? So that it just reminded me, it's just a way, this whole like prove me wrong thing, because people are looking to have intellectual discussion, sparring or whatever like that. But that's the thing. And the other thing that came to my mind, this is sort of funny, is do you remember the movie Friday?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember the dad finding out his son is going to a fight with a gun?
No. I don't remember.
And he says to him, what are you doing? Chat, you guys remember this, right? Where the dad says, what are you doing going to a fight with a gun? He says, in my days, we didn't take guns to fights. We used these. He said, you win some, you lose some, but you get to live. And like that's the the thing about like what America, I think, generally has been known for is that people can have these intellectual fights. Politicians can debate and argue, but generally it works. The system works. People get along. People compromise. People make decisions. I was telling someone, I said, I'm kind of looking at this as an outsider to a certain extent and saying when we look in other countries, like politicians are beating each other up in parliament and like it's just a mess. And America hasn't done that for more than 100 years. I don't know, the last fight in American, like in Congress was maybe like in the 1800s or something like that. But generally people look at America and say, hey, look, their system works. Yes, they argue. Yes, they do this. Yes, they do that. But they make the government work. You know, the government doesn't stop functioning every 8 months because people can't get along or something like that. And this sort of stuff, assassination attempts, assassinations and stuff like that, puts quite a bit of fear. I think about the fear that college students will have across the United States, saying, "Man, like, do I feel safe next to this student next to me if I were to share my thoughts on a subject?" Because this guy was a student at that school.
Oh, was he? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
so he got accepted to that school. I don't know if you've seen his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, he's a normal dude. Like, he came through a normal family. His dad, from what I read, is 27-year veteran of like the sheriff department. He's got 2 younger brothers from the pictures I've seen. The acceptance speech he's reading that he got accepted into the college. He went there for a semester and then dropped out. And so people are going to say, well, what happened? My thing is, he took an idea, he thought about it, he believed it, and took it to its logical conclusion. And this is why people need to be very careful as to how we, and I mean this on the right or the left, I don't care, how we present one another, right? The way we present each other, it matters a lot. So if in his mind, let's just say, he's sitting there as a 21-year-old, and he goes, man, this Charlie Kirk guy, he's a fascist. He's lying and hating on millions of people. He's ruining our country. It's up to me to save the millions of people. It's a logical progression to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm willing to take the hit for everybody else. I get to save millions of people. In his mind, he's a hero. I get to save millions of people from this guy. I'm going to take him out. It's very easy, I think, for people to sit there and say, he was a radical and he was mentally unstable and this and that, X, Y, and Z. I bet you anything, over the next week or whatever like that, we're going to have classmates of this guy come out and say, dude, he was a normal guy in our classroom. Like, he was our friend. We never saw any of these issues. And then in the last 2-3 years, he got pretty like heavy into politics, and then it went in this direction. So rhetoric matters. We have to be careful in regards to what we're saying and what we're calling people, because there's individuals listening to us that trust us and believe us. And is it true what we're saying, right? Is it actually true what we're saying is the question we need to ask. So that's important. And that's my take. The take I was going to say was, I think this guy's a completely normal guy. And I think he thought about things. He ran it through like just some basic logic and then said, I'm going to do something about it. Where most other people wouldn't do something about it because whatever. They're not willing to take the risk. He's like, I'm willing to take the risk.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
Boys in the hood. I don't know.
I don't know if I would. I don't think he has that hero complex. I think he's just a piece of crap. Like, I don't think he was sitting there going like, you're right that it does go to its logical conclusion, but I don't think this guy was the guy that was like, I'm going to save democracy.
No. That's a guess on my part. But what I'm saying is, it doing something like this doesn't mean you're crazy. That's what I'm saying.
No, this guy watched this guy watched I don't know, like some weird kind of corn. That's one of the things that was on his bullet casing, was some like furry corn or something like that. Like Really creepy
Are you
stuff.
sure? I
Yeah,
didn't see
no,
that.
that's 100%. That's not just me. Like that's like a legit thing.
Okay.
The other thing that was on one of his casings was, "Hey, fascist, catch."
Yeah.
Another thing was the Bella Ciao song, which is like an Italian anti-fascist
Fascist song. Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. If he really believes the guy's a fascist.
Yeah. But it seems to me that this guy's just genuinely like. Here's the thing, people are like, he looked like a normal guy, right? Well, like, think about it. The guy's in Utah. Have you been to Utah? I've been to Utah. I used to work at a company.
Yeah, I've been to Utah multiple times.
So Utah, if someone's going to be a leftist in Utah, it's not going to look like you're leftist in California. So I wasn't expecting this guy to come out and have like purple hair and like yellow toes and like, oh my God, I hate Charlie Kirk so much. I want to sit him in the like. That's not. I was expecting a guy like this. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter, because one generation over, the university system radicalized him. So you have his dad as a sheriff, his mom worked at some social services stuff, whatever. They had family pictures, hunting, fishing, whatever it is, right? One generation of this guy going through that, either college or the college age, right? That range, and he was radicalized to whatever his actual intention was. He was radicalized enough where he was, there was a picture of him wearing like a nationalist, socialist shirt. There was there's a clear evidence this guy was leftist influence. The person that initially told the dad about what he'd done said that they were sitting having dinner together, and this guy was saying he hates Charlie Kirk and what he stands for.
Yeah.
So even if this guy and his family, it's like some white guy, Harry Sisson, that guy's such a garbage human being. He's a Democratic analyst, whatever he is, a fake activist. He just looks gay, to be honest. That guy was talking and he's like, they expected him to be black. They expected me to be trans. But he was just a white dude. And then one of the responses is like, yeah, he looked exactly like you. He was basically you and didn't commit murder. Like, what were you expecting? Like, none of us are shocked that it's just a white dude. Like, he could be any dude. The point is his ideology, not his skin color. It's like the left wanted the left was like, God, please don't let it be some black guy or some trans guy. That's not what we care about, guys. Like, I didn't care about it, the color of his skin or how gay he looked. I thought about his ideology. And that's what his ideology was. His ideology, whatever, you'll see it come out more.
Ideas matter. That's the bottom line, is the ideas matter. But again, like you're seeing, I've been watching and seeing videos of people who debated Charlie, like crying on camera, like finding out about it and just weeping on camera and saying, hey, look, we've debated this guy, but like, come on, like America can't go in this direction. And the sad thing is the reaction we're seeing from, specifically it's TikTok, by the way. It's very interesting that it's like the TikTok folks, is that this guy's not alone. There's a lot of people like this guy, and they're cowards, right? Hiding behind screens, celebrating X, Y, and Z, and then posting about it. Now I know there's, the internet's done the internet stuff and a bunch of people have lost their jobs. There are older people like doctors and nurses and stuff like that who've posted things like this, who've lost their jobs already because people called their employers and said, hey, did you see someone works at your hospital that did this? Businesses shut down. Like the internet's just been like vicious on the way these people have acted and their jobs and all that. It's just like, for me, having open dialogue and discussion with people is... It's such a breath of fresh air. Like, I love it. I thrive off of it as a person. I wish I could do it 24 hours a day, Tom. Just sit across people and talk to them about their ideas. Talk about like whether they believe in God, don't believe in God, and where that takes them politically, socially, like when it comes to their morality. And I feel like Charlie was that kind of a guy. Like you could see it it's not easy sitting down and talking to hundreds of people. It's absolutely draining when you do something like that. It's worse than physical labor for like 18 hours. You get really, really drained. But there's some people that are built in a way where they just kind of sort of thrive and I mean this in a very good way. Like there's a passion they have. And maybe the best word we can use in this is like you have a calling to function like this. You love people. You want to see them come to know Jesus. All conversations end up leading to Jesus. And you get individuals who just hate that. And what that tells me, individuals who hate that have run out of arguments.
Oh, yeah.
They've absolutely run out of stuff they can say to you and against your ideas.
Yeah, you forfeited the debate there. It's done.
And they just want to hurt you. And that way, your ideas are bankrupt. I mean, I don't know who said this because I've watched so many things, but somebody said, this guy was anti-fascist and acted in the most fascist way you can by killing your political opponent.
Yeah.
Just like exactly what fascists do. Right? So it's horrendous. And again, we're talking about kind of the impact on the country, impact on folks. I think Nick's right. Nick's saying, hey, pastors, be ready. A lot of people are going to come to your churches. This has impacted a lot of people. There's a lot of people saying, hey, we're going to go to church this Sunday. And folks are going to seek. This is one of the things where as Christians, Charlie's wife gave a speech today, and she quoted Romans 8:28. And this is one of those things that could spark revival. We look at things from a spiritual perspective. As Christians, we view things from spiritual kind of undertones and all that stuff, and things God can do and use situations like this for. Yes, I agree. I think Nick is right. Pastors, be prepared. Have reasonable answers. Be ready to counsel people. Be ready to speak into the lives of individuals. Because you might have a blue-haired person walk into your church this Sunday and say, this situation has caused me to rethink my stances on life. And I got some questions.
Yeah, I mean, Art, I love you. You know that. But you're more gracious than I am, brother.
Well, I know that. That's why I'm 40 and you're 33. I said this when we got going.
I will not... I reject both sidism. Not that you're saying that, but I'm responding in response to Gev's comment. I'm reading there. I reject both sidism. I think the left is disgustingly radical. By the way, I was gonna say that whole Bernie Sanders and whatever these other leftist politician cop out stuff. Like, I disagreed with everything Charlie Kirk stood for, but he shouldn't have been assassinated. Homeboy, what did you disagree with? Say the disagreement so people can hear it. Did you disagree with the fact that children should have been mutilated at 7, 8 years old because they believe they're a different gender? Did you believe that protecting babies in the womb, was that something you stood against? Did you believe that him saying we shouldn't let a bunch of illegal immigrants to come in because they're raping and actually killing American children, American teenagers, was that something you stood for? Was it the Bible? Was it the truth? Was it free speech? What was it you stood against? That's disgusting. If you look at someone like Charlie Kirk and you say, I disagreed with everything he stood for. Well, he shouldn't have been shot. Well, if you did, let me tell you something. To whoever's watching, one of those leftist politicians that's watching, hopefully, if you disagreed with everything Charlie Kirk stood for, you're a piece of crap and you're evil. You're actually evil if you disagreed with everything Charlie Kirk. Like, if Bernie Sanders was to die, I'd be like, you know what? Bernie Sanders was a leftist socialist, and I disagreed with so much of what he said.
Yeah.
Obviously, I loved that he was, pro. He cared about the working class. He still stood up for free speech. He did a good job reaching out to college students. I'm sure he loved his family. He seemed like a decent guy I could go out and have a chat with. And yeah, I disagreed on him on some socialist policies, and his stance on abortion was terrible. That's how human beings talk. These guys are robots. These guys are not human beings. These guys, and I mean that that I'm being facetious there,
Yeah.
but that's the way. That's what they want to do. Like, how do you disagree with everything this guy stood for? I don't even want to hear you
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, we know
and then
that's
they're like,
not
by
true,
the way,
right? Yeah.
and then they're like, by the way, for the right, let's give the proper. It's like that meme I saw. It's like they're shooting some liberal is shooting some conservative dead, and then they're like turning around, being like, okay, now let's be peaceful together. Let's figure out a way to be peaceful.
Yeah.
No. Like, you don't get the right to do that. I'm not saying we shouldn't be peaceful, but you don't get the right to do that. You don't get the right to start the conversation. You've lost the conversation because, by the way, I was attacked by Antifa. And yeah, look, these guys all look like turds. All the men look like women. All the women look like, I don't know, like goblins. They all look disgustingly weird when you go to these Antifa protests. They're not normal looking people by any sense. But and they look like sissies, a lot of them. They attacked me. They actually physically, I have the video on Instagram. Maybe I'll share this in the next couple of days. They physically attacked me on I was on Instagram Live. Like, these gay guys, like, literally, like.
When was this?
This was during the initial Trump, presidency or whenever it was.
Really?
But my point is, these guys are like, they don't get to set the tone for the conversation. You've lost that because you guys are violent. And no, there's no both sidism. Both sides are not the same. The right has its radicals. We mock them. Charlie Kirk mocked the radical right. Charlie Kirk was our biggest figure. Your biggest figures are literally disgusting people. Like, the people you guys support are the worst of the worst.
So here's my point. It's not both sidism. Here's my point. Even if they're disgusting people, remember what I said. Even if Charlie Kirk was X, Y, and Z, they're still a human being made in the image of God, and they have given God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? And they can say they're disgusting ideas, and we will own them on their disgusting ideas. We will pound into the ground their disgusting ideas, right? We take every thought captive. There's biblical basis for humane dialogue. The Bible says Paul went into marketplaces and synagogues and, I'm paraphrasing here, debated people and persuaded some to believe. Persuasion and debate. Go into the book of Acts if anybody wants to do a biblical study in the next couple of days. Go into the book of Acts, read the entire book of Acts. And every time it has the word persuade in there, or persuaded, just highlight it. And see the amount of times Christians are persuading non-believers, whether Jew or Gentile, to come to Christ. Charlie did that. And if they're going to come out and say things like, I disagreed hey, look, that's pandering. I disagreed with everything that he stood for. And your simple response would be, he thought we should care for the poor. Did you disagree with that? Right? Like, and we get what you're saying, absolutely. Even if they're dirtbags, they don't deserve to be shot, assassinated. They do not deserve that. You can say what they deserve is for their ideas to be publicly humiliated. You okay?
Yeah. My wife is saying this entire stream has been ads for me.
What?
I don't know what she's saying. Like, she's watching the stream.
Yeah, I don't know.
But how would a live have ads?
It does.
Oh,
they throw an ads in there. Jeez. But like, how many?
Where's the money at?
I know, huh? Come on, YouTube. Pay us. 18 cents, bro.
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. So that's what my point is exactly that. Is I think one of the things that Charlie was doing, and it was working, especially amongst the young college folks. Because I remember seeing his rallies not have so many people, and then it's just like been insane. Was he was taking this Christian idea of persuasion, right? And he was sitting with people. He was kind in his debate. He was bold in his debate. Brilliant dude. Like the way he was able to pull stuff up from just the top of his head is amazing. And the left can't do that.
Yeah.
And if the left wants to gain any kind of respect, Let them have individuals like Charlie Kirk. I dare them. Look, there's a whole market for it. Like, even if you just want to think about the money of it, there's a whole market, lefties. Go on college campuses and do exactly what Charlie Kirk was doing, just from the left side. Prove me wrong. We should all be gay. Whatever you want to say, right? Just have people come and debate you. Why don't they do that? Why is it that it's the religious right, I would say, that's so open to having these kinds of dialogues? And the left isn't interested in that.
Well, because you're right. Well, because they control the professors and the institutions, and so they're doing exactly what Charlie Kirk is doing. Actually, there's a video of some girl saying, "You're a 30-year-old guy. Why are you here talking to a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds?" And he's like, "Oh, what is your professor doing talking to you? He's older than you." Like, the point is that they're doing that, but it's institutionalized.
Yeah. No, trust me. Look, I've experienced that, Tom. I've been on college campuses where professors have come and debated us in front of their students. I've been on college campuses where professors have invited us into their classroom to debate us in front of their students. Right? I get the college experience and the way professors act, and the kind of authority they think they have over students and the minds of students, where they're not, again, I'm generalizing here, but they're not interested in the education of the students. They're interested in the indoctrination of the students. By the way, one of my favorite professors at Glendale Community College was a liberal Democrat, but the guy was educating. I knew what his political position was, but he was actually a really good teacher, where he would challenge the left and the right on all matters. So good teacher. But then I started realizing, wait, I took a history class where my professor was a Jewish atheist, progressive, like one of those guys that was getting arrested in the 60s, like anti-Vietnam War and stuff. And the news, the school newspaper wrote an article on me where they called me a bunch of names because we were doing ministry on campus and stuff like that. And I went to him and I said, "Professor, what do you think about this?" Because, ironically, the same newspaper had an article on him where he was like doing anti-war protests when he was younger. And I said, "What do you think about the stuff they said to me about me in this article and stuff?" He said, "Arthur, this is a college. This is where our ideas ought to be fighting." He said, "As long as it's your ideas and you're not physically hurting someone, share your ideas, brother. I'm fully in support of the stuff you're doing on this campus."
That's awesome.
Like, now you could say, well, this is guys like a classical liberal and stuff like that. And I was watching Dave Rubin and Cenk go at it.
So
my God, that was such dumpster
Where he was
fire.
reading the titles of his videos. Did you see that?
Shut your mouth! Shut up!
Yeah.
Didn't those guys work together?
Yeah. Dave Rubin used to work at that company.
Just shut your mouth and let me talk, Dave! Cenk is a guy that I feel like I would have really, really fun conversations with.
Yeah, I've met Cenk.
Yeah.
I played basketball with Cenk
Yeah.
all the time.
I just randomly, maybe if he got overheated, I'd be like, "Hey, bro, stop being a Turk." Like, but
Bring your American side out more often, Cenk.
yeah, maybe. But why did I bring that up? Oh, like Dave Rubin was saying, "Hey, Pierce Morgan and I were on the left.
Yeah.
Because of the wackiness of the way you've been acting, now we're in the right." Like, it's the only place that's like accepting. Side note, saw a very interesting interview, and I think it might have been Charlie, asking Dave whether he believed in the God of the Bible. And he was like, yes. I thought that was very interesting. Just because, his lifestyle is definitely going to disagree with the God of the Bible and what he teaches. It's very interesting. Arthur versus Cenk would be legend.
That would be crazy.
Wait for it. Pray for it.
So one thing about Cenk, I won't say where I had a communication with him, but I've met him a couple of times, and he's actually the same guy in person that he is on the camera.
That's cool. Look, that's cool.
Yeah. So there's that's one thing about him. He's not a fake dude. Like, he's as aggressive in person, talks exactly the same. Physically, he's not a big guy, like, as far as like height and stuff, but he's like physical. He's a bully. We were playing basketball. He's a bully. He can play. He plays. He moves. He's that guy that's a little, a little on
Chunky?
the heavier side, on the chunkier side.
But he can move.
Yeah, and you're like, there's no way. And then he starts moving, and he's this crazy energy and stuff like that. So actually, speaking of Cenk, he had one of the better responses on the liberal side, where initially
I haven't seen his.
Yeah, initially he put it out and he said, you know what, me and Charlie had issues, and Charlie was like, let's have a beer or something, and so we went and had a beer, and he said it was a great conversation, and he said something like, it sucks that I can't have a beer with him anymore, but I'm gonna have a beer in his honor next time I drink. It was something like that. And
So he as far as I remember, Charlie had invited him to a Turning Point USA conference, and they had like a sit down together. Like during a podcast. I remember something like that.
I mean, Cenk also like attacked or started screaming at him once from like the audience, and then Charlie tried to go at him like from the stage, and then somebody had to hold him back. Like, Charlie, sit down. Yeah, like they were getting physical. They were like, and then he was like, Cenk, and then someone shared it on Instagram and said, Charlie, he got shot yesterday. He was the racist that was calling people because they were interpreting as the anti-Asian slur. And then
my gosh!
And then people are like, bro, his name is Cenk.
My gosh!
Like, it's spelled. It's you say Cenk, like it's like a Turkish way of pronouncing the name.
Yeah,
he's not calling him like an Asian slur. So it's just, man, the internet has been rough.
It's just hilarious to me that liberal people who think they're like super accepting and cultured about different cultures have no ideas that there are names other than, I don't know, Johnny and Bobby and whatever it may be. Like, Cenk is a name.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. Speaking of beer, I can't wait to enjoy some apple juice with Tom and Arthur.
When is that?
Same here, bro.
That's when you get your PhD.
Well, hey, I don't know, but
you coming to that October 10 event.
He is coming to the October 10 event.
Okay.
Yeah, he's signed up. God bless you. Hey, thank you, Cody. God bless you too, man. This is a weird conversation, says pseudonym. Hey, pseudonym. Okay.
Pseudonym, welcome to this side, the dark side.
Yeah, maybe you should have been here from the beginning, bro.
Hey, listen, I think what happened to Charlie Kirk is going to motivate a lot of people.
I agree.
To speak out. It's gonna do what you said martyrdom does, and it is martyrdom, and it's interesting because Charlie Kirk's death, I think it's martyrdom on two ends. It's martyrdom for the cause of conservatism, right? Freedom of speech and all this stuff, and it's martyrdom for the cause of Christ, because especially recently he had really been talking about Jesus, So it's gonna sow that seed, and even guys like I come on this show once in a while. I'll sometimes post some political stuff, but it just motivated me to put my thoughts out there.
Brother, I was watching your stuff, and me and you have had this discussion where we thought about coming up with another channel called Apologia Center Politics, and I was watching your stuff online, and I was like, dude, we should just launch that.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I have friends. I'm in a group with other creators and stuff like that. They're smaller creators. We kind of bounce ideas off each other. The people in that group were like, this has put a fire under our butts. Like, someone was like, I'm going to write a book. Somebody was like, I'm going to start producing videos like crazy. And I absolutely agree with you. I'm telling you, like, I still haven't made up my mind. Like, it really needs, the only thing that's holding me back is I haven't heard from God to say, do this. Okay. Everything in me wants to be like, Monday morning, I'm going to show up to a university campus and sit there.
Yeah.
And be like, come talk to me. And again, I just won't do it unless I'm confident God wants me to do it. Just given the ministry scope I have. But if God's like, do it, I'm on college campuses, not just on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you brought this idea up before, like even like months ago. You were like, hey man, why don't we go on college campuses and start interacting with people? And I've kind of held back on it for various reasons. But I think the reaction is going to be very intense.
Oh, major.
Very intense. And especially with younger people, man. I'm talking 16, 17, 18-year-olds. For as much as I've seen just like the maniacs saying, oh, we're happy and celebrating all that stuff, I've seen 100 times more young people saying, this guy was an inspiration to me. I've seen people in Armenia. Brother, you don't know this. I haven't shared this with you. I have very close friends in Armenia. I told you about the prayer breakfast, right?
Yeah.
That we're planning hopefully to be there for. Charlie Kirk was supposed to be in Armenia for that prayer breakfast. That was like confirmed. They were working out the dates. I found out about this yesterday. Like, there's folks in Armenia that are doing like a memorial thing for him on Thursday, like next Thursday, right? Like it's the British Parliament. There were I saw the New Zealand folks. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the proper terminology here. They were doing the haka in his honor. Christians.
Oh wow.
Christians from New Zealand and England doing the haka in his honor. Like, it's all over the place. I didn't realize, I'll say this 100%. I thought Charlie Kirk was Christian culture, MAGA influence. I didn't realize the amount of people Charlie Kirk had an impact on globally.
Oh, yeah.
I saw folks in Australia speaking about it. Like, again, so we don't know what this might be.
You know, I was watching an Al Mohler video this morning that my friend had. Did you watch that video? He had shared an Al Mohler video. My friend had, and I was watching it on Instagram, and he said something like he met Charlie for the first time years back, probably when Charlie was younger, 18, 19, something like that, and said he wasn't even interested in Christianity. He thought Christianity was in the way of the conservative movement. This is what Al Mohler says.
Wow.
It's an interesting video. He says Charlie Kirk at the time was saying things like Christianity is hindering us from moving the conservative movement forward. We got to be more aggressive, put it aside, and stuff like that. And he's like, then over the last few years, his entire rhetoric changed, where Christianity became front and center of what he wanted to do. I mean, even up to recent interviews we've watched, and where they ask him, what do you want to be remembered for? And he says, the courage for my faith. So that's going to move people, and that's moved me. That's going to move a lot more people. And so what they tried to shut down, whoever it was, whatever the reason, what they tried to shut down is going to cause an uproar of conservative voices, Christian voices, people interacting, people putting their thoughts out there, people organizing, people voting a certain way, people being unashamed. So it's going to do more damage to the left.
Go ahead, talk to
it's gonna do more damage to them than they think, and so. But again, I want to go back to this one thing because I don't want to leave the left off the hook. I don't want these conversations happen. Us Christians generally, because we're trying to be Christ-like. Dude, who's this pseudo guy?
I don't know what it is.
Why is it weird? Like,
bro, who cares?
I don't understand why this conversation.
Hey, bro, your name is weird. Go away.
Yeah, like seriously, there's nothing weird about this. Like, you're weird, probably.
Like, there's a title to the stream.
Yeah.
We're talking about what the title.
Like, this is one of the more least weird streams we've had in a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by the way, before you went on, you know my friend Jacob Persley.
Yes, I do.
So Jacob was on Charlie's podcast.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And
That's
so,
awesome.
like, they were talking all things Armenia, the war with Azerbaijan, all that stuff. Like, and they reached out to him. I remember, before he went on and stuff, and I remember that Jacob was like, hey, I got invited to go on Charlie Kirk's show to talk about all things Armenia. Like, just their attention was there. And I just, like, super appreciate that because we need that as much as possible. But go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah.
Pseudonym cut you off. And
pseudonym, annoying person, weird person.
The weirdest who gets a name like pseudonym.
Seriously, like, you paint your toes for sure. I was gonna say I don't want to let them off the hook. Like, I want to constantly move this conversation to they're radical, they're hateful, and the positions they hold to, majority of them, are hateful positions. And where I wanted to go with that is not to just throw that out there and leave it, is to, like, I'm not going to let you cowards hijack what Christianity is. A lot of the posts I'm seeing them post of Charlie Kirk, like U.S. Armenians posted. I had a major debate on that yesterday. Very interesting, actually. U.S. Armenians posted something on Instagram of Charlie Kirk giving a motivational speech or something like that, just something positive. And somebody was like, the top comment was like, his hateful rhetoric wasn't really Christian, was it? Is that in the Bible? And then
this is probably a person who's like amening the Armenian apostolic priests who are like, don't forgive anyone.
Seriously, but it was getting hundreds of likes. Like, and I'm like, dude. First of all, you've probably never read the Bible. Second of all, you're in Sacramento, so you're probably wacky anyways. But third of all, who the heck are you to decide what the Bible teaches? And who the heck, like, you can't claim the Bible teaches something it doesn't, and then say that this guy's not a Christian because he doesn't follow my fake interpretation of the Bible. The Bible is very clear on what it thinks about homosexuality, what it thinks about children, what it thinks about family, what it thinks about men and women, what it thinks about a lot of these cultural subjects. You don't get to reinterpret the Bible and define it your way and then be like, Charlie Kirk, he claimed to be a Christian, but you know.
And I think maybe this is the difference between you and I, and in regards to the reactions, okay? And we're good enough friends. For those who are watching, we don't just do this because, you know, I don't know, we're just doing a show. Like, we're actually friends. We spend a lot of time together. Is the fire that you have, that you come at these situations is, and I hope I haven't been desensitized to this, but I heard non-Christians, theological liberals and political liberals use the Bible to argue against what we're preaching on college campuses so many times. Where for me it's normal, like that kind of stuff, like I'm just like, whatever, like you don't know what you're talking about. The amount of times I've had people come to me and say things like, well, you're preaching all this stuff, doesn't the Bible say, you know, and then like misquote a Bible passage, you know. Dude, we were on college campuses with a giant sign that said homosexuality is a sin, Christ can set you free. This is 2007. Tom, we were doing this stuff, and we'd get crowds, 200, 300, 400 people crowds. There were fights, people attacked, pregnant women hit. I'm telling you, the fact that this stuff like wasn't being streamed.
Oh man, what a shame.
Right? Like, I've seen it all.
Who knows where you'd probably be, God knows where your subscriber count would be. No, I'm serious. I mean,
I know.
You were doing that. I doubt a lot of places in America were doing that.
Yeah, like you had your average. The thing is that you had your average like street preacher / like campus preachers that have been doing it since like whatever the 70s. We did it differently. The way we did it was often very dialogue oriented. We'd spark up conversations, and somebody would come up front, and then we'd just go back and forth. I mean, we had the campus police come out in Pasadena City College. We had the campus police come out to protect us from the gay organization on campus because they were attacking us. They started getting violent with us. So I was open air preaching, and campus police was standing right in front of me. I was speaking above the head of the police officer, which was really cool because at one point I said something and the police officer just tilted his head a little bit and said, "Amen, brother, keep on preaching." Which was like gangster. But the fact that they had to call out campus police to come protect us because it was getting so dangerous. And so like I've seen that stuff. Is like, doesn't the Bible, like when we had those banners and people, doesn't the Bible say, first thing, doesn't the Bible say you shouldn't judge?
You shouldn't judge. Right?
Yeah. And you know, like I've heard that so many times. My response to that has like shifted over the years, where now if somebody says something like that to me, I just go, I don't know, does it? Quote me the passage. And 9 out of 10 times, they have no idea whether that's in the Bible or not. Now what they're going to do is chat GPT it, you know, like in the past, they're like, well, and I would give them a Bible and be like, I don't know, show it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the work for you. You made the claim. show it to me.
Man, I found out in recent years, man, that I have such like fake people that I grew up with are so fake, man. Seriously, like I'm putting this out there. Like people that I grew up in the church with will take on these social phenomenons that are happening with like George Floyd and whatever else happens, and they've been so silent on this issue. And I came across a video yesterday that a few of them had liked, and they know who they are. If you're watching this, you know who you are, and these are people that were very close to me.
We're looking at you.
Yeah, seriously, like you guys are cowards. If you're still Christians, you're cowards for standing or for the lack of, or for the indifference you have towards things that affect Christians very heavily, like this situation. A couple of them had liked something that said, it was this pastor preaching. He honestly, I'm not even trying to be like funny, he looked gay, straight up. But he's a pastor. Like if you go on his page, he's a pastor. And he was like, today we gathered together, and they're all sitting at a park, and he's like, we all gather together to speak about, before we begin, to speak about the situation of Charlie Kirk. And I just wanted to say that although we disagreed with every single position Charlie Kirk took,
which is horrendous, because like Jesus is God.
And he's like, at least one position we could agree on is we were both Christians. And I was like, bro, screw you. Like with all due respect, screw you. You are not a Christian. If you disagreed with Charlie Kirk's positions, you are not a Christian. Look, Jesus wasn't a Republican. Jesus wasn't a Republican. I get it. Republicans, majority of conservatives, like every Republican is not a Christian, but every Christian should be a conservative. Let me put it that way. You can't be a Christian, like truly believe in the word of God and be like part of a leftist movement. Like that's impossible. I get it if you're saying like 30 years ago, like Democrats were like oh yeah, let's just we like social programs and stuff. But that's what I mean. I can't allow these people. Yes, I can't allow these people to hijack Christianity and then talk. And then we just say, hey, at least he gave a nice response. At least he didn't say, I'm happy Charlie Kirk is dead.
Yeah.
It's like that's the standard you've said.
Oh gosh!
Oh, like at least he's
We're
not
in
happy.
Serious trouble, huh?
Like screw you, man. You don't get to define what Christianity is, and then say like the only thing me and Charlie Kirk had in common. Like I love to kill children in the womb. I love kids mutilating themselves at the age of 9 years old. I love destroying the family. I love letting immigrants in. I love watching people stab women in the train. And Charlie Kirk hated all that. But at least we can both agree we're Christians. No, we don't agree on that. We don't. You're not a Christian. You don't follow anything that the Bible teaches. You're not a Christian. Charlie Kirk was a Christian. Yeah. And so you don't get to like somehow put yourself in that same category. Forget you. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say I won't let them off the hook. That's what I mean. When they try to take this conversation, whenever I hear, my trigger is when they go like, hey, you know what? The conversation has been escalating on all sides, and we just need to bring it down and learn how to have a conversation with each other. Homeboy, homegirl, that's what the guy was doing. He was having a conversation with you, and you shot him in the neck in front of his family. That's what you did. We are trying to have this brother right here, he just said he went to college campuses and I conversed. A couple of times I went to some abortion stuff. One time I went to a rally in the nicest way, trying to communicate with people like, hey, why do you take this position about Donald Trump? And I got attacked. You don't want to talk to us. You only say these kind of stuff when your psychopathic ideology causes people to do psychopathic stuff against us, against Christians, against conservatives. And then you go like, oh, let's bring it down and let's have a conversation with each other. No, man, that's not what you want. You don't want a conversation. You want to silence people. You want people like this to shoot conservatives, kill them, Christians, and then you want to come out and say, yeah, I disagree with that. This shouldn't be the case. We should be able to talk to each other. But then internally, you're like, now the conservatives can't go comfortably sitting college campuses. Now they have to have security. You know, somebody was telling me, like, if you, who's the guy with the cap?
Frank Turek?
No. The guy that wears a cap and he has a big show. I forgot his name. Really big show. God, I was watching him today. But he was saying, he's like, I won't share the numbers, but he's like, you won't believe people in the conservative movement that are like nothing compared to Charlie Kirk, how much security that we pay for, millions of dollars, where these leftists don't have to do that. They don't have to worry walking into a college campus and something crazy happening to them. Nobody cares about them. Their opinions are boring. They're useless. But these conservative people, even if they have a little bit of like...
I'm curious to know who the guy is you're talking about in the cap.
He's very big. Guys, who's the guy that wears the cap? The hat? He used to be sort of on the left, but now he's not. God. Like, my mind is fried, guys. I've been I've been watching so much. When I say his name, you're gonna be like, oh, like forget you guys, man. His widow had to stand up next to his desk today with his like cap sitting there and stuff like, and she had to be like my children, like who are you guys, man? Like,
yeah, I saw someone on Facebook posted, if you watch Charlie's wife speak today and nothing happened to you, you need a new heart.
Yeah, seriously.
Like the fact that she's saying, hey, my 3-year-old was like, where's dad? That for me, bro. Whew. Like, seriously. That breaks you. You know, again, like the when I said people's conscience is seared when they're celebrating and saying all the sort of stuff they're saying, it's like, I don't know how you can't be bothered with a story like that. And again, for me, I'd be bothered with a story like that no matter who it was. No matter who it was, I'd be bothered. You know what I was thinking about today, bro? This is Tim Pool. Okay. You know what I was thinking about today? This guy's dad, the shooter's dad, had to convince his son to go turn himself in, right? In whatever way.
Yeah.
And then they're going to pursue the death penalty to him. And I was thinking, this idiot has put his family's innocent in this. Now his mom and dad have raised the son for 22 years. And they have other kids. And they got to go sit somewhere and watch him die.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to his parents.
Oh, for sure. But he should die.
No, look, I'm a big fan of the death penalty.
Yeah.
With all the correct parameters. Okay? I think there are things that you do that you forfeit the right to live. Okay? So the philosophical arguments for the death penalty, the biblical arguments for the death penalty are solid. And it's not like this guy's denying he's done it or whatever like that. It's the equivalent of the guy who stabbed a Ukrainian girl. That guy should get the death penalty. Mm-hmm. No question about it. It's on camera. There's no defense.
Yep.
Right? You go to court, they show the video, the jury says guilty, punishment. It's very simple. Case closed. But my heart still goes out because his parents and his brothers are going to have to sit there and see their brother, see their child because of his stupidity. Okay? Again, I don't just want to make this an intelligence thing because it's evil what he's done.
That's right.
Right? It's not just like, oh, he's dumb, he did this. I actually don't think he's dumb. Okay? These people have to go through hell. Now, their last name, the name of their family, is plastered all over the world.
Yep.
4 days ago, these people were living just their normal lives, looking forward to, I don't know, school started for some of their kids. It's just...
You say like, kind of like you've lost that fiery brand in the sense where you don't respond quickly. But you know what bothers me? It's that, like, for example, some idiot Stephen King. I don't know if you've seen this guy.
I saw that.
He's an author and stuff like that. He's like, Charlie Kirk said, like, gay people should be stoned or something. And then like he came out and apologized, like, "Oh, I apologize. They shouldn't be stoned." Or some person on MSNBC yesterday said like, right after the shooting, he's like, it was probably one of his supporters that was shooting a gun off in celebration. And then and whatever. Another thing I posted a video about today in response is the idea that everyone is spreading this thing now about like Charlie Kirk said it's okay for a couple people to die every year for the sake of like our Second Amendment. Just completely out of context. So like we can respond to those. There's easier responses, right? But the question is how do you sit on the sidelines in these moments and sort of let no. I'm saying as people, as Christians, as conservatives, as people who have a voice, do you sit on the sidelines and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let these people talk? Or do you say, hey, like this is enough misinformation and enough like lies that are being spread, or like you gotta say something about it? Like you gotta say something about it. Like you can't just, the guy died and then you can't just be like, this guy was willing to sacrifice people and watch them be killed so he could keep his Second Amendment. When that's like completely out of context. So like, what do we do? Like, how do we not go crazy, but at the same time actually respond to these people?
So again, for me, I like processing stuff. Okay, for a number of reasons, and this is just me. I'm not saying everyone should be this way. I want to check my heart before I put anything on the internet, because I don't want to look. I don't want to take, because it's my relationship with Jesus that comes first and foremost. I don't want to take a situation like Charlie Kirk's assassination and then use it as a platform to grow my following.
Yeah, of course.
If I have nothing to say, I just won't say anything about it. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, I watched. Why am I forgetting his name? Oh gosh, you're not. It's kind of getting late here, so that's partly why. But I'll tell you who I watched.
Guys, by the way, appreciate you guys for being on and doing this with us. And I'm sure there's a lot you guys have on your minds too. That's the thing. Also, as you're searching for that, a couple people reached out to me. I'll put this out there, Jesse. I don't know if you're watching, but your husband reached out to me yesterday, and he was super caring. And I won't say exactly what he said, but he's like, I know this stuff is important to you, and you get emotional. So he's like, as your big brother, I just want to be there for you. Like, do you need it? And he said some of his thoughts too. So it's okay. Like, we all always feel like if the person is not directly involved with someone who's died, like we don't care about their emotions, but people care about this stuff. Right. Like my own brother was very like torn. He's like, I'm really angry. He literally told me, he's like, please respond to your text when I text you, because I don't know how else to vent. Yeah. Like he has.
Well, this is partly why I'm seeing a lot of people posting online. And again, people have a different way of processing information. By the way, Alan Parr shared a very interesting story that left a very negative taste in his mouth about Charlie Kirk initially. He got invited to an event that he felt like he was bamboozled into to be like a Trump supporter and stuff. And then he said, then I started watching Charlie Kirk's videos and his discussions and his podcasts. He says, and I realized there's nothing I disagree with this brother. Yeah. This guy is a legitimate Christian. He's saying everything a Christian should say. There's nothing I disagree with him. But it was a great video. But Alan was on that same trajectory of, hey, I wasn't going to make a video about this. And I woke up this morning and I felt like I should really make a video. I wasn't going to make a video. I was going to leave this whole thing until Monday. We had a discussion about this. We were planning on talking about the Ukrainian girl and the stabbing. We spoke about Monday. We're going to speak about that. And I said, let's just wait until Monday and then we'll have a conversation about this. And then I woke up today and I had a couple of things to do. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a stream tonight. I think I've processed it enough. I have enough thoughts. I've seen enough of what other people have said where I'm like, yeah, I got some stuff to say about this. And again, I want to check my heart not to jump on people's misery, people's tragedy to gain followers, to gain whatever. My video gets shared.
Yeah, don't look at it that way. Your voice is important.
No, I know that. I know that. But that's a part of the importance of my voice. Yeah. The silence is a part of the speaking, where I'm just kind of trying to, in a culture, it's sort of being countercultural to a certain extent, Tom. In a culture where everybody wants to immediately talk and say stuff without having thought about it. It's countercultural, and I think it's very much like Christ-like and biblical. We can go read the Proverbs about shutting your mouth a little bit, listening before we speak, right? And so part of the reason is that
keep in mind this came off the heels of some like 5'2" Ukrainian girl Irina being stabbed viciously in the neck. Like there was. My senses were very heightened already. I was angry at that situation. Actually, that's the first time I've ever put like a long form video in my life up, was that day that happened. And by the way, that video got 20,000 likes. Shout out.
away.
I mean, not 20,000 likes. I keep saying likes. My wife is like, nothing you posted got 20,000.
Oh, because I was like, bro, that means you got like 1 million views.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. It got 20,000 views.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. And the weird thing is I was like, I was expecting the other videos I posted would get like some likes, but I'm like, me talking, like who cares about that? But I think it was weird because somebody probably clicked on it and they're like, oh, it's not like a white guy talking about this stuff. It's like some guy that looks like Arab or whatever, Middle Eastern. But anyways, my point was, it was.
Hey, Johnny, come over here. And Arabs talking about.
Johnny, they found him. They found Saddam's son. No, but my point is, it was coming off the heels of that, so people were already emotionally heightened, right? And then, and even Charlie put something up about that situation.
Yeah, he tweeted about it.
And then the next day, like, you see this horrific. And look, it's one thing to know something that happened, but it's another thing to visualize, to actually have seen it, and that video affected us. Honestly, I regret sending that video to you. I wish I hadn't even seen it.
Which video?
The one of Charlie Kirk getting shot. I think I sent it.
By the way, I didn't click on it.
Okay, good.
But then I saw it randomly.
Yeah, because it was everywhere. Like I wish I didn't see that. Those are the kind of things in hindsight. Like, think about it. Thinking about it in maturity, like that affected me to a different degree where I wish I hadn't seen it. I think that's part of the desensitized culture. It's because all we see on YouTube and Twitter and X and stuff like that is like these violent videos. And like there was an Indian guy that got his head chopped off yesterday. Did you guys know that? There was an Indian guy who got attacked by some other ethnic group. I forgot.
Where?
Oh, by an illegal immigrant. I'm not kidding you. There's a video on this.
Where?
This guy, I forgot where. But this...
like in America.
Yeah, so this Indian guy, he's a hotel worker or something. They have like a little argument about like the laundry machine or something like that. This illegal immigrant chops off his head and then kicks it, plays with it like a football. This is on like video. Like somebody sent this to me. They're like, hey, like, look at this in case it's something you want to react about. I'm like, bro, I'm not even clicking on this. Like... there's too much like happening in the last couple of days. I'm not watching this. Like, this, screw this. Like, but that's what I mean. It's like everyone is on a heightened emotion, and so the responses become very heightened. And by the way, bad things happen all the time. And I'm of the mindset that human beings were not created to process this much information. Our minds are going crazy. Somebody was. I think, Charlie Kirk's wife. I was watching something Charlie Kirk's wife was saying in the past, and she's like, he's just always on his phone, and he's looked at, and then she's like, but then there was like he had a schedule where he would put his phone in the drawer, close it, lock it, and then the rest of the time spend time with his family. But I feel like we've lost that. But then there's also a lot happening. Like, it's actually a lot happening. So you have a bunch of stuff happening all at once, and people are trying to process it, and our processes are breaking down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I was watching the ladies from The View react to this, and what's her name? The really old one, Joyce. She said something that I thought was very interesting. She said I'm old enough to remember, like, we had a bunch of stuff like this happen in the 60s. And she named, like, oh, this person got assassinated and this person got assassinated, and so on and so forth, like JFK and MLK and all this stuff. And she was like we went through a period like that, and she made a comment that was very interesting. She said that might have actually been the reason why I got married so early, because we were clinging on to each other. Yeah. And I was like, that's very interesting. And it could be we're going through, like, can you imagine social media in the 60s?
Yeah.
Like, if people had social media in the 60s as all of these, can you imagine the civil rights movement being streamed?
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I mean, part of the whole thing with the civil rights movement is, the pictures in the newspapers and on the news about dogs attacking these peaceful protesters and cops beating, women and stuff like that, that got like the psyche of the, your average American of like, what the heck's going on? Where maybe we're going through a time period like that, and where you're right. It's just a lot of stuff happening. And yeah, I think there's a time to react immediately. Like, not like, oh, I'm going to sit on this for a week or whatever like that. Like, I think there are times to do that. Just for me, there are certain situations where I think to myself, if you react in this situation, it's not going to be helpful. And again, I just know myself. I know why. I know what I'm going to say and why it won't be helpful and all of that stuff. And so I just don't. But that doesn't mean everybody else has to do that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say my way is the right way of doing this. Nobody else's is. I'm just saying I know myself. I know what's going on. And so I got to, search my heart before the Lord, first and foremost. And then once all that stuff is settled between me and Jesus, and then I can do, I feel comfortable to do what I got to do in regards to the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very hard for me. I'm telling you, this is a personal challenge for me. It's very hard to continue humanizing people that act like animals, and then it's the constant reminder that I have to give myself. Hey Tom, seriously, dude, you're a Christian.
Yeah.
You know that, like, you have the handbook that says if they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. You're not greater than your master. Jesus was persecuted. This is not a new thing, especially as in a Christian context, right? As a believer, forget politically or stuff like. As a believer,
well, look, our theology precedes our politics.
Yes, but it's hard. But it's still, it doesn't make it easy. Right? Like, it doesn't make it easy. Arthur, it doesn't make it easy when I see a 31-year-old. Can you believe it? Like, now there are people that are like great that are younger than me. Like, I've always looked up to, like, the people that have been greater and I look up to have always been people that are older than me. Now I'm at the age where they're younger than me. So I could say something like Charlie Kirk, the poor kid.
Yeah.
Like, at 31 years old with 2 babies, right? Shot in the neck in front of his family. His kids will probably see those videos when they grow up. It's all over the internet. Yeah. His wife came out today like a superhero speaking, but it'll probably hit her more in the next few weeks, right? You came, like, whatever you were. Forget even the shooter's ideology, Arthur. After the shot had taken place, let's say the shooter was a right-winger.
Yeah.
Forget it. The way you were celebrating, the way you were gleeing, the way you were cheering, the way you were justifying. I'm not even talking about the worst parts of X. I'm talking about like left-wingers that are politicians, like we talked about Ilhan terrorist Omar and all these people, right? So like the way you talked about that, how do I humanize you? Yeah. Like, how do I pray for you? Like, dear Jesus, how do I go home and think about that guy that was wearing a megaphone and saying, Charlie Kirk is dead, we hit him in the head or whatever. Like, how do I go home and be like, Lord, I pray for that guy, forgive that guy? I mean, yes, we're taught to do that, and there are people that are able to do that. There are people that are amazing in their faith. I'm having trouble doing that. I'm telling you, I'm waking up every single morning like I told my brother, like, ready for a soft crusade. Like, I could literally imagine, how did Christians attack and kill people? How did they justify it in their mind? Well, I kind of know now. Like, I see myself getting so angry to a point where, like, there's some kind of, like, thing like that happens, and then, like, 300 years later, people are like, man, how did those Christians in 2025 become so crazy? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I absolutely understand what you're saying. And not that I don't go through those same feelings and thoughts and all of it. Trust me. Look, the way we do it, first and foremost, is by God's grace. The way we do it is by absolutely throwing ourselves into the grace of God and saying, Lord, let me share a story with you. I don't know if I've shared this with you. There was a time in my life This might get me in trouble, by the way. It's like this might just drop. They might just block my channel. There was a time in my life, very early on in my Christianity, where I just absolutely couldn't stand gay people. Like, because I grew up in a heavily male-dominated, chauvinistic culture. And for me, if a guy came and was acting that way, even if he wasn't like that, if he just acted that way, it was like, away with you. And it had, obviously, like, I'd become a Christian, but I still had these feelings and thoughts. Like, guys would come around me and I was just like, dude, like, back off. Like, even in the church.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple of situations. One of them was I was doing street ministry, and it was something that came up, and the Lord really confronted me. And I was like, God, I can't. And I would just pray for people. Specifically, I would just pray for gay people. And here's what I would pray for: that God, you would give me your heart for these people.
Yeah.
And then a number of experiences happened where I met, like, I remember going to a wedding, and I sit at this table, and this dude comes and sits next to me, and he's the most feminine guy. And it's a Christian's wedding. I'm kind of looking at him, I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing here, right? It's a bunch of street preachers and stuff like that. And then I figure out that this guy's like recently come to Christ, and it's just sexual identity is something he's struggled with over the years. And one of the guys that had led him to Christ was there, and, you know, found out about his story. And I was like, oh man. And just, like, again, realizing the heart and the grace of God. But I say that because I remember through that process of just, like, constantly praying and saying, God, give me your heart, I met this, like, 15, 16-year-old Armenian kid in Burbank who was, in our conversation, he just broke down in tears and was talking about, like, I really don't want to be like this. I really don't want to have these thoughts. I really don't want to have these feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my heart just really went out to him. I prayed for him, blessed him, shared the gospel with him, asked him if he wanted prayer. He didn't, so we laid hands on him and prayed for him and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what happened to that guy. I never saw him and stuff like that. But it was very transformational for me. I was like, I cannot believe it. I stood there after that and I was like, I can't believe this. 3 months ago, I wouldn't have even had a conversation with this guy. And when we talk about, like, how do we humanize, like, to me, I don't think we can. It's very natural for us to create enemies, right? But again, we throw ourselves on the grace of God. We ask God to give us his heart. Christ died for us while we were yet his enemies. We were his enemies. Christ died for us.
That's right.
Like, and we're called to be like Christ. This is revolutionary. People who don't know Jesus don't know how to compute what I'm saying right now. Their processor's frying, right? I've been in situations where it's been Armenian politics on the table in the conversation, in a very hostile audience, where I got the last word on a panel of speakers from different political parties in the Armenian community. And they asked me, the final question was, what do you think will resolve this issue with, like, Turks and Azeris and stuff? And I had the last word, and I knew I was going to get, like, I was going to say this. If I get jumped, I'm going to get jumped. And I said, what we need to realize is we don't only preach Christ, we live Christ. And Christ taught us this. Love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Let the love win out. And I got, like, right, it was done, I had a group of people just, like, come at me, and they're like, how can you say this? All this stuff. And I said, because you guys don't know Jesus. You guys absolutely don't understand Jesus. Christ died for us while we were yet his enemies. It's often, you guys, Christians forget what kind of enemies of Christ we were. I haven't forgotten that because I was old enough to remember what kind of an enemy of Christ I've been before I was saved, before Jesus took me and transformed me. I was an absolute heinous person. I was sharing with someone today, Tom. And by the way, welcome, folks, as some folks. Like Nikki, I haven't seen Nikki in my for such a long time. The guy in custody is so young. Yeah, he is. So before I knew Jesus, I had so much hate. I had so much hate for Turks in my heart, Tom, where I understand what radicalization looks like.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the internet the way, but I was being radicalized because of beliefs I had about Turks and just my national identity. If I fell into the hands of a charismatic, I shared this with someone today. I said, if I fell into the hands of a charismatic nationalist, Armenian nationalist, they would have been able to turn me into a terrorist in a matter of 6 months, where I would have done something unthinkable. Right? And this is when I was 15, 16 years old, where I was in that place of saying, what's the point of life? What's the purpose of all this stuff? No, those questions ultimately resulted in me finding Christ through those questions. But that's what I could find my identity in. So when people sit there and say, oh, this individual was radicalized. How were they radicalized? Brother, I could have been radicalized. That's the hate in my heart where you would sit there and you would say, yeah, they deserve to die. What, they're denying they killed our people? Of course they deserve to die. Like, it's not the, oh, they were wacko, doodle, the rational people. I was a rational 16-year-old sitting there saying, how can people do such evil to my people and deny it after that?
Yeah.
And the rage that comes with that. And maybe, again, because of my history, that might be partly why, like, I take time to think about this stuff, because I know without Jesus, the rage is through the roof.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to get there. I really don't want to get in the flesh like that. Maybe some of our Pentecostal brothers and sisters will be like, yeah, don't get in the flesh. Come on now.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing that really would solve this, we can't do it in our own human strength, brother. Like you can't wake up tomorrow. I can't wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to love these guys. Because you're not. They're going to give you every opportunity not to love them.
That's right.
Right? If we look at it in regards to human affairs, people will give us every opportunity not to love them. And we will be justified in not loving them. Again, just talking human relationships. You'll tell them, Jesus loves you, and they'll turn to you and say, F your mom and your kids and this and that. And then you're going to be like, what? I'm going to crush this guy's face. Because that's the normal reaction, right? And it's praying that God gives us his heart. Because it's the compassionate God. We love God because God first loved us. Again, Christ died for us while we were yet sinners. It is that kind of love of God, the love of God he has for us as sinners. Like, I want that heart. And I learned that. I really, really learned that doing street ministry. Because people gave me so many opportunities not to love them. And I went through a period, and I've spoken about this publicly, but I went through a period where the only reason I would go, it was a very short period of time, and God put a stop to it. I would go street preaching just to destroy people in debates. Like, that was the reason I went to do street preaching. It's like, I'm going to find someone to debate. I'm just going to embarrass them. And I did that a couple of times for maybe like, a month or so. And then the Lord said, what are you doing? No. And I actually stopped going street preaching, repented, sought the Lord, prayed that he would give me his heart when I went out. If you're in evangelism, you guys, I know there's a lot of apologists and like there's so much Christian content on the internet and stuff like that. If you're doing what we're doing and you're not praying that God gives you his heart to reach the lost, you're going to be acting out of anger. You're going to be acting out of hate, not the love of Christ. And again, you can still be bold and act out of the love of Christ. There's no question about that, okay? By the way, humongous shout out. Nikki's the person who made this logo.
Oh, that's cool.
And again, it's become the face. Hey, big shout out to Yandel for the super chats. Appreciate it, brother. But God shows his love for us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Amen to that, bro. You know, you were wearing the hat the other day. Remember the hat you were wearing?
Yeah.
That's Yandel's company.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It should be there. It's right there. Well, you got nice hair today, so.
Yandel, big shout out, brother.
Appreciate the hat. There it is.
Boom.
Come on now.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with you, brother, and that's why I like hanging out with you, because you were once crazy like me, and now you've calmed down. But at the same time,
I'm also like older and just tired, bro.
At the same time, I don't want to let them quench that fire, because there is the loving and Christian response, and that should be always at the forefront. But there's also the practical aspect of my kids have to grow up in this world, and so the balance of loving people and also staring them down. Bro, while you preach truth, that's the difficult part.
Look,
that balance.
Christ called people to repentance. Christ called people whitewashed tombs, okay, that they're rotten bones on the inside and look good on the outside. He called them hypocrites. He told them they don't understand the ways of God. All of that is fair game. I call people to repentance. I do agree with you, right? And again, this is where different personalities come in different ways. And God's going to use our different personalities. I don't want you to become like me. I want you to become like Jesus in the unique personality he's created for you. As I'm becoming like Jesus in the unique personality he's created for me. And we become a blessing to the body of Christ in regards to the way we've been wired. Like, there's no question in my mind that that's the way we go about it. I just don't want people sinning against Jesus under the guise, I'd say disguise, of I'm doing ministry for the Lord. That's right. And we see that stuff on the internet, brother. Like, we see people's streams, right? We see people getting up there and, cussing out their audience, and it's like, wait, man, like, what am I supposed to believe here?
Yeah.
You cuss this guy out and then you talk about Jesus is loving and saving you.
That's right.
So
Arthur
that's not the way
Arthur at 40 is so different from Arthur at 16. Look, I don't think I don't think he's that much different. I think there's a delay system. So it's like, on Telegram you could put like a delay in the chat, where if someone is chatting, they have to wait like 10 minutes before they send their next message. That's basically where Arthur is right now. There's a delay system.
I'm pretty fiery, man. I mean, you were saying that stuff about Cheng. Like I am like this in person. There'll be times where I'll stand up and start yelling at you, but it's probably thought out before I start yelling. I know Nick's just been saying, like, don't forget. We're not forgetting the our Praise with Reason event is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Share it out if you're in the LA area, greater Los Angeles area. We got this awesome event coming up, and we got a couple of fiery guys in this. This dude yesterday. This dude tweeted out, it would be an honor to die like Charlie Kirk. And folks were commenting a bunch of stuff in the box. Somebody wrote, are you a psychopath? And somebody else wrote, yes, literally, he's a psychopath. And David explained himself. He was saying, hey, I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm just saying it would be an honor.
Yeah.
And he explained himself in various ways. But we got some really awesome folks coming to have a conversation, and various conversations. And, I'll be talking about apologetics as worldview formation. This is, again, like going to the Charlie Kirk conversation, the kind of person. I think what Charlie Kirk was doing was worldview apologetics.
Yeah, and I hope you mentioned that somewhere in your conversation.
I will add it in there because it's your Christianity that is, without giving my talk away, but it's your Christianity that is impacting your politics. It's impacting the way you drive your car down the freeway. It's impacting the way you raise your children. It's impacting the way you talk to your neighbor next door, right? So October 10 is the event. It's going to be from 6 p.m. We're going to provide dinner. And it's going to go to like 10 with some breaks. And we have worship throughout. Tom and our worship team at our church is going to lead worship. If you go to apologiacenter.com/praise with reason, everything's pretty self-explanatory there. David Wood's going to be speaking about engaging unbelievers boldly. I know we're going to have a panel and a Q&A with myself and our two guests. So looking forward to this. We are getting up there in regards to registration. So please, if you're interested in coming, register. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to wait to the week of or something like that, because you might not get a spot. Seats are very limited. make sure that you're registering for that now. If you got church groups or you know of church groups, share it out in this area and say, hey, go to this event. The guy, I know the guys, they're really good stuff. You'll learn quite a bit. And it's a small enough event where you're going to get to mingle with the guests. Ruslan's book is going to be there. He's going to be signing books, taking pictures and all that stuff. So we want to encourage him.
I feel bad for Ruslan too. Like this whole book release thing happened at the same time as all this crazy stuff. And
he's traveling, bro. Like he's on the road. He's been recording in different studios.
And I see him trying to and by the way, I loved his response. I loved his response to the Charlie Kirk situation. But and I appreciate the way he's trying to balance like his book, which is very important. If I wrote a book and I was releasing it and this kind of stuff happened, it would really suck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, Yandel said, any good hotels around? Yes. Just get in contact with me, brother, and I'll let you know.
It's funny because the hotel that we're probably going to... Actually, I don't know if I should mention this.
No, don't. Don't.
Never mind. I was going to mention something funny. It was going to be funny, but then it also gives locations.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, plenty of hotels in the area. This is a friend of mine who's known me since I was that age. He said Arthur at 40 wouldn't recognize Arthur at 16. They're very different people. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
Thank you, man. God bless you. Will I have VIP seats? Show up, bro. You're going to be traveling a fair distance. I will make sure that Tom puts a little sticker on a chair that says Yandel.
Yandel. I'll just put this on your chair, brother. You'll know where to sit.
We'll get you a seat up front, brother.
Yandel, get me one of these
because he's going to come from far away, bro. I don't know whether he's going to fly or drive, but whichever one, he's going to cross some distance for that. Anything else we want to say?
I just want to pray if we could for
absolutely.
a second.
Yeah.
I want to pray for Charlie Kirk, his family, because that's what this channel is all about. Yeah. So I'm going to pray. Father God, we thank you for being our light in moments of darkness, Lord. We thank you that through the blood of your Son, Jesus, that you've rescued us and that you've given us life, everlasting hope, and that we have an example to follow when it comes to the way we respond to any of these things that happen. An example who also suffered like we did, fully human, who's able to feel and empathize with what we go through, Lord. I pray for Charlie's family, Father. I don't know what it feels like for his wife. I hope I never do. The pain, the heartbreak of losing your husband in that fashion with your kids with you. I can't imagine it, Lord. And although she seems to be strong and a strong-willed woman, Lord, none of us see the pain when they're alone. None of us see the heartache when they're trying to explain to their kid what's gone on, Lord. So I pray that you give her strength through your Holy Spirit. I pray for their family. I know that they have millions and millions of people that are offering support financially, whatever it is, Lord. But no one can heal the heart, Lord. People can provide words of wisdom. People can provide finances, but only you can heal the heart. Only you can be that encouragement when the music fades, when the topic has kind of subsided in its coverage and the importance and all that stuff, and when the world goes on, which it always does, Lord. Only you and your Holy Spirit can be that comforter in those times. I pray for them. I pray for his children, Lord. I pray that the fire that his death has lit under all of us, Lord, that his children, it would light 10 times the fire in them, that they would be servants of Jesus Christ, at the same time be honorable to their father's legacy, Lord. I pray for all the Christians out there, Lord, all the conservative hosts and people who fear for their safety, Lord. I pray that you guard them, you protect them, Lord. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. And we pray for revival in this land.
Yeah. Before you close, there was this one part that touched me so much in her speech, in Charlie Kirk's wife's speech, and she said something to the extent of my 3-year-old keeps asking me when Daddy's coming home, and she responded by saying, "Daddy's on a work trip with Jesus. We'll see him later." Yeah. Like that kind of stuff, man. It just makes me want to go hug my kid so tight. And yeah, he is with Jesus, but how do you know, the way you explain that to children is so different. So I really do pray for their family, man. I pray for
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had conversations with my kids at different ages who are different ages on different subjects. And you can't. It's impossible because they don't have certain categories. Right? Like, so this 3-year-old has a category that dad goes on work trips and he's gone maybe for like a week or something like that, right? Like, and kids have a different sense of time as well. And it's just difficult to get something where they'll kind of conceptualize why dad's not around. But again, it's one of those things where, and maybe this is like cliche or something like that, but like just humanizes the situation of like, these are real people. For a generation that grows up like in front of screens all the time, these are real folks. The camera turns off. They got to sit down and hold their kids' hands. Like, we are real people. Our kids watch us watching these things. We can't completely shut it off from them. Like, I'm listening to something and my 7-year-old comes and goes, "Who is that guy?"
Yeah.
And now I'm confronted with the situation of like, how do I answer what's going on? He just heard death and he heard this, he heard that. Yeah. And maybe they don't have some categories. And so we all deal with it. And
God forbid they see it, man. Like, young kids especially are of the age where somebody could like flip open that camera.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've seen 2 heinous murders in the last week.
Yeah.
And I hate seeing stuff like that. And both of them I've seen completely accidental.
Yeah. Completely
accidental. Video just started playing. It's in my mind.
Hey, if we don't care about monetizing this video, can you close it out with a song from Tom McDonald that he wrote that I thought was really cool? It's called Tom McDonald, Charlie Kirk. That first one right there.
This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard this.
Can we close it out with this?
Shot down and he was barely 31. Another woke coward took a life with a gun. He left behind a wife and a daughter and a son. All he did was try to speak for all of us. And I'm so tired of the hatred and the narratives. The patriots ain't dangerous, woke people are the terrorists. They shot and killed the father, sent a message to Americans. They ain't gonna stop until they bury us. Dear Charlie, I don't know if you can see us now, but if heaven has a window, I sure hope you're looking down. Cause we ain't going quiet, we gon' scream your name loud. And you're gone, but I swear to God that we gon' make you proud. We ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us. When good men die for the things that they say, and I can't just be quiet. So I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day. Killed in cold blood for having a discussion, and liberals are celebrating murder like it's justice. You didn't kill a villain or the evil that it comes with. You killed a father and a husband. And I'm so tired of the left and all the wokery. We can't get along if you just kill us when we don't agree. Sniper rifle fire from a liberal that no one sees. Scared I might be next to die when I'm just buying groceries. Charlie, we'll make sure your children know that defending all our freedom is why you aren't coming home. I hope heaven has a window you can watch your children grow and hear your message echo from below. And we ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie.
That's it.
This ain't the America that all our parents love.
So here's what I'll say. Be bold, speak the truth, preach the gospel. Because at the end of the day, there is only one thing that can rescue humanity. Charlie knew that. We all know that. Those of us who've actually given our lives to Jesus. There's always hope for those. Even those who hate, who mock, who rejoice over evil. God can rescue them, save them, and change the world through them. So take care, guys. Good night. God bless you guys. Hug your family, hug your kids, and we will see you guys on Monday. Take care.